Hi, and welcome back. This is your instructor, Mary Jo Black, and I am happy to see you in Module 1 of Management Information Systems. So we're going to get started with Excel 2016, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's such a powerful tool. Okay, so some of the module objectives are going to be to get you to the point where you understand what the spreadsheet software does, what the window components are for Excel 2016, understanding formulas, labels, values, um, cell entities, to be able to do a simple formula, change worksheet views, and choose print options. So, Microsoft Excel is an electronic spreadsheet program, and what it does is it allows you to do work within the spreadsheet and perform numeric calculations. So, when we say that it can do a lot of very cool things, some of the things that it can do is it can perform calculations like adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, etc. It can also change things and into a graphic representation. It can generate a report. It can organize your data. You can sort your data. You can analyze your data, and you can create what-if scenarios. So some of the advantages of using Excel is you can enter data quickly. You can recalculate quickly. You can do what-if analysis. You can change the appearance of the information. You can create charts. You can share information. You can continue to build on previous work. So here's a look at an Excel worksheet, and it has a graphical image next to it. So the graphical image gives you the ability to take what you have in this spreadsheet and create the graphical image next to it, which is very powerful in that it gives people that are more visual the ability to see it in a visual way. It also makes it look pretty. So let's talk about a cell. So a cell is the intersection of a column and a row. So each cell has a specific location. It's called the cell address, and we'll take a look at that when we get into the spreadsheet. The cell that you're working in is called the active cell. So if you've got a cell that you clicked on, that is the active cell. There's a name box that displays the active cell address. There's a formula bar which you can edit and enter data. There's sheet tabs which allows you to move from one worksheet to another worksheet. There's a status bar which provides a brief description of the command or task that you're doing. And there's a mode indicator which tells you about the certain tasks. So let's take a look at this. So this is an open workbook, very basic. So arrange, if you take a look here, what has happened is that this is a sample of a range. So we've started at 40, and because I'm in a PowerPoint, I can't actually show you, but you click on this cell and drag it down to this cell. So this is a range of values. It's of 2 or more cells. Formulas are equations in a worksheet. When you're creating calculations for Excel, you need to know where the formula should be, what the cells and arithmetic operations are needed to do it. You need to be careful when you create formulas and use cell references rather than values. So you're going to use those cell references in order to choose which cells you're going to choose to do your calculations. So here's a look at operators. So now when we talk about an operator, we talk about the cell that's going to do the adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, percent, exponent. And this little piece right here is called a caret. So if you take a look over here, and I'm just going to find it, this little item right here is called a caret, and that's an exponent. So if you go 6 to the second power, it's the same as this right here. So here's how you would go ahead and view a formula. If you know, like here where I'm pointing at 670, if you click on that cell and there's a formula in it, you're going to be able to see the formula, and my mouse ran away on me, right here. This is where that cell formula is. So it's taking cell B5 times cell D5. So let's find B5. B5 is right here, 40 times D5, which is 16.75, and it's calculating it, multiplying it, and it's 670. That's kind of how it works. So labels contain text or numeric information about the calculation. Values are the numbers, are the formulas, or the functions that can be used in calculation. A function is a built-in formula. So that would be like, it could be an argument, it could be the sum of some, and we'll kind of get to see that, those functions, as we start to move through and practice with Excel. Okay, so here is a really good information about how AutoSum would work. So what has happened is equal sum, that is the sum formula that's being used. And I'm just going to go back a second here. That's called a function. So we're using the sum function to add B5 through B13. So what we're doing is we want you to take the sum of those values and put it in the total column. And as you start to work with Excel, you'll start to understand these a little bit more. You can change or edit any of the contents of the active cells at any time. To edit the contents, you need to double click on the cell and then go into the formula bar and make the change. And then it switches and will go ahead and change that calculation for you. And then after you get done, it switches from edit mode to making the cell entry. Okay, so here's a worksheet, what it looks like in edit mode. So you've double clicked on this, and it's like, okay, up here, this is what you want me to change. If you double click on 40 and it was a calculation, up here would be the calculation that would appear. So it's saying, okay, when I double click on this, oops, and I double clicked on the screen, so I changed screens. When I double click on this, it's going to put this in edit mode, and it's going to put what you're editing up here. Let me go back one here. Okay. So here are the pointers in Excel. So normal, you see the plus sign right here. Here's file handle. Here's, whoops, I apologize. Here's the edit, the cell, or the contents. It's the area that you're going to choose to edit. And that's the move sign. There's the copy sign and the column resize. As you start to work on inside of Excel, you'll start to see these little pointers pop up. And when they pop up, you're like, oh, I know what Mrs. Black was talking about. That is a pointer, a common pointer in Excel. Okay, so formulas start with equal. Remember when we took a look at sum, we noticed that when we were using that function, it started with equal sum, and then what we did is we chose the area or where we were going to start. We clicked on it and dragged it and said, we want you to add all of these numbers together. The calculation operators in formulas indicate what type of calculation you're going to perform. So the sum is adding. So the arithmetic operators, if you take a look, these are indications of what arithmetic operators is: the plus, the minus, the multiplication, divide, percent, and caret, which is to the power of. So calculation operators are a little bit different than arithmetic operators. Comparison operators are when you are taking when you get past the point of arithmetic operators, it's doing a comparison. Is it greater than, less than? Is it equal to? Is it greater than or equal to? Is it less than or equal to? So there are different kinds of operators. And I'm trying not to have this jump ahead on me. I'm trying not to touch the screen, sorry guys. So text concatenation operators. What that does is it joins strings of text in different cells. An example of a text concatenation would be and. This and that. So what it's doing is it's joining an operator. A reference operator enables you to use a range in calculations. So for example, if you have the colon or the comma or the space in between the parentheses. These are actually examples of reference operators. And we'll get a little bit more into it too. When you take a look at Chapter 1, you'll have some really great examples. And when you start to do your work of exactly what I'm referring to. Okay, so you can change the window or the worksheet window by either using view the tab on the ribbon or view the buttons on the status bar. The normal view shows the worksheet without headers and footers or tools. The page layout view provides a more accurate view of how a worksheet will look when it's printed. So that's really helpful when you're going to print it and you're going to present it maybe to the board of directors or what you want to see what you're going to print. A page break preview displays a reduced view of each page of the worksheet and where those page breaks are going to occur. Okay, so here's a page layout view. If you take a look at it, it shows you exactly the area that is going to be shown. Here is a page break view. So here's page 1. If it were to go to page 2, you'd see another slide that said page 2. So it's giving you page breaks. So it's going to do this page and this is where it's going to break. You can also choose the kind of print options you want to have. You can choose the layout, which you can choose a print area. You can print the preview and see what it would look like prior to printing it. You can go to the layout tab and you can print it either in landscape or portrait. You can scale to fit it into an area. You can have a sheet options group. You can print. Printing is done in the backstage area. That's what they call it, where you go and you click on print and then you're in that backstage area where you can make those decisions. So here's an example of a worksheet in the portrait orientation. And if you take a look up here, and try not to click on it, here's where that orientation is. If you go to print, this is the backstage view. So what you can do is you can see that it's in the settings, it's printing only active sheets. It has normal margins and normal scaling. It's not shrinking it to fit a certain area. And that's it. Continue to work on Module 1 in your assignments. I will be in class to help you with anything you have questions about. Thank you.